You're listening to the Dude What podcast, where we review bad media and have a laugh while enjoying beer with your host, Harry and Tomo. Enjoy the show.
Hey, welcome back to Dude What podcast, everybody. My name's Harry Dowling, and this time, I'm not joined with the one and only T-Lad. For various reasons, we've been unable to actually hang out and record a podcast this week. I say various reasons. If you listen to the Harry's Half Hour last episode, you'll have heard me say that I have been extremely ill, basically. Not COVID or anything like that. I've just been really ill, and Tomo at the moment has no transportation or anything, so he can't get anywhere, so I have to sort of go and see him. And yeah, I've just been unable to do that because I've been so ill. So we actually have a bit of a special one. We've got a good friend to both of us. He's been on the podcast before. He's co-hosting this one with me. It's Mr. Callum Hamby. How the hell you doing, man?
Pretty good. Happy to be hosting. Yeah, it's a shame Tomo can't be here, but happy to fill in.
Yeah, man. I think I'm really happy that you said that you would like to do it, because it can be pretty sort of daunting. You've been on as a guest before, obviously.
Yeah, I think I was pretty nervous the first time as a guest. I've never really done anything like that before, but I think it was good fun. I really enjoyed it, and I know I've been saying to Tomo and Harry, whenever they want me on next, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah, so we're actually we were chatting fairly recently, and we were planning on having you back as a guest at some point soon, because the last time I spoke to you, you said you had a film and a beer and everything basically ready to go.
Yeah, I got the whole thing planned out. It might as well be my show at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's basically like the Hamby show, and me and Tomo are going to guest on it. So yeah, looking forward to that. But it is going to be a cool dynamic having you hosting this one.
Yeah.
As I said, it's a bit of a special one. So this episode is going to be fairly short and sweet, everybody. Unfortunately, we're not going to be doing a what are we drinking. I do not want to drink. I've been feeling so shit. I got a banging headache. I was planning on having some shots of tequila at some point on the show, and that's been pushed back week after week. And yeah, I'm not going to be drinking. Feel free to have a drink, Hamby, if you want
some
to.
Squash.
You got some squash. I got some. I got some Asda's own Lilt is what I'm currently drinking, and it ain't bad.
No, I think I got Asda's own squash.
Okay. Asda boys, just a couple of Asda boys. There's not going to be any Tomo's Impossible questions. I actually was going to find one, because I really enjoy the Tomo's Impossible questions. So I was like, I'll just do it. And then I thought, hang on, no, that's like kissing another man's wife. You don't.
It's his thing. Yeah.
You don't do his. You don't do Tomo's segment when Tomo's not here, basically.
Yeah. No, you can't replace it with anything.
No. Yeah. So, and then I thought, what if we did a Hamby's something? And then I was like, well, actually, if this happens again in future, you may be asked to stand in again, and then maybe we'll consider a Hamby thing. But I think for the moment, that's quite a lot of me to ask of you to come up with your own segment for the show.
Yeah. We'll see what happens in the future. But yeah.
Yeah, man. That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. I think Tomo is actually, because we've got the Harry's Half Hour, which I don't know if you've heard any of it.
No, I haven't. No.
It's basically just me rambling on for half an hour about random news stories that I've seen that week. But it always tends to be either James Bond or Lord of the Rings gets mentioned pretty much every week. But it's because there's always news on it that I find, so I'm just constantly mentioning it. But Tomo's been looking to start his own podcast, or his own spin-off podcast for a while. And we've had a few ideas. What do you think of this, actually? So the best idea at the moment we've had is, it's called Tomo's Time Capsule. And what it is he will take a year and talk about the big releases of that year, be it a game or a movie. But I think being Tomo, it's going to steer more towards the game thing. So he's basically just going to be like, 1983, guys, it's the year that so-and-so came out. This was for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I mean,
it's quite a cool idea.
Definitely, like, when we were teenagers and stuff, there's probably some years where, like, a solid, like, 2 or 3, like, quality games came out and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, and, like, really, really, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but, I mean, like, 2008, 2009, stuff like that.
Yeah, like you say, there's some games that we spent, when they came out, we were just on all the time. Like, think of World at War and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Pretty much any
what year that came out now.
Yeah, all the Grand Theft Auto games, Red Dead Redemption,
definitely,
stuff like that. Yeah, no, there's loads to talk about. Yeah, that's pretty cool idea for a podcast though.
Oh, I think it'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I think he's planning on hopefully trying to think of something and get it done this week maybe. So the reason why, if anyone can tell, we're doing this remotely. This is the first like remote podcast we've done. We're trying it. If there's any sort of weird like latency or anything, fuck you. This is like the first try. It's not going to be perfect. But basically, Tomo, for the longest time, he's always been like a PC man, but he's never had a PC or something like that. Or he's had a PC, but it's made out of like hairdryer parts or something.
I've even given him parts and things. I was like, how's that part keeping? How's it going? He was like, I gave him a graphics card.
Yeah.
And I was like, how's it going? He was like, well, it's fine. I just haven't got a processor. So it's like, basically the computer doesn't work.
I'm pretty sure that thing you gave him is just a glorified coaster, bro.
It probably is.
I'm pretty sure just like a can of beer sits on that like all the time.
So. It better not. It cost me a fair bit of money when it first came out. I don't know when I got it.
But I mean, he has had PCs and things.
Yeah.
But they always break or something happens or he sort of messes with it and, and they get sort of made redundant. But he also doesn't have a laptop. But he's always had like amazing phones. So I guess like this day and age, you don't really need a laptop if you've got an amazing phone. So, so I said, can we do this on your phone, man? And he was like, yeah, except the Bluetooth doesn't work and the charger port doesn't work. So he has no way of connecting any headphones or anything to it. I said, okay, right. Well, have you got a laptop? And he's like, yeah, I've got a laptop somewhere, Yeah, cool. So up until the day of the podcast, because we're actually recording this pretty late. These podcasts come out on a Tuesday. It's like a Monday night right now. So this is like last minute. It's like, yeah, all right, let's crack on then, man. Let's do it. And he's like, okay, I got to find it. It's like, oh, shit. And for various reasons, it just didn't happen. So unfortunately, Tomo, I couldn't go to see him, and also we couldn't do this remotely. But he has given you his blessing, man, to fill in for him.
Appreciate that.
He's like, as long as I'm not replaced. And I say, you know what, man, you can't be replaced, bro. So don't worry about it. But if this works, man, like, it would be good because we could have you on as a guest, and it could be remote if he gets his remote thing sorted out as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, no. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Touch wood, it works fine. I was about to say it's all working fine.
It's when we come to the end of the podcast and like nothing recorded or something.
Yeah.
So everybody, it's Spooktober. It's October. It's like my favourite time of the year. I'm definitely a spooky boy at heart. I love all things proper spooky. The spooky memes are my favourite. I always look forward to the, that meme of like spooky music stops. It's like one of my favourite memes that comes out every year. So yeah, like I love it. It's October. This year on Dude What Podcast, this month, we are doing all Spooktober. It's going to be a spooky 4 weeks. Every 4 weeks, everybody. Every episode is going to be spooky themed. We're going to be watching horror films. We're going to be watching horror YouTubes. Maybe a horror game or something if we can get that in there. God, my laptop's just popped up with like an error message or something. We'll just hope that's fine. It's still recording, so it's all good. But yeah, spooky everything. And we're kicking this first episode of October off with some spooky YouTube videos. We we're planning on doing like a horror film about clowns, which I'm not going to spoil, but that should be coming out at some point. We have actually already watched the film. We just need to do the podcast. So that'll be coming out fairly soon. Might even be next week's episode. But for the first one, we were planning on watching a load of YouTube shorts, doing our YouTube short series. It seems to be that they are the most popular of our videos, YouTubes of our podcasts. Apart from Harry's Half Hour, which has been picking up steam, having like not many listeners, but you know, like having a few more listeners than are listening to the main podcast at the minute, which is kind of cool. But yeah, we were planning on watching a load of them. As you know, the sort of format is that me and Tomo will watch 4 random spooky YouTube shorts, and you know, that's how we usually do it. This week, because it was a little bit sort of last minute and we had to get things worked out, we decided to just watch 2 of them. And as I'm talking about this now, I've just realised that I literally haven't asked you how your week has been or anything, Hamby. Like, what the hell you've been up to, man? I haven't seen you in ages. Sorry, man.
I was on I was on holiday last week, so this was my first day back at work after a week of a lovely holiday. So it's
where did you go again?
We went to me and my girlfriend went to Fuerteventura in the Canary Islands.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah,
for a week, and it was lovely. I literally spent the week sat by a pool drinking mojitos. That's literally what I spent my week doing. It was fantastic.
I wish I could have.
So it's the first time we've travelled abroad since like COVID. So like literally like 2 years since we last went abroad.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend really like, you know, we like going, like everybody, we like going on holiday. We like going
you guys met. Places. You guys met on holiday, didn't you?
We did, yeah. We met in Australia. We were on the same tour group and we hit it off. And we're both from the UK, but that's how we met. But yeah, no, it was really nice actually to have a nice, lovely week off.
Yeah.
I was when you say what you've been up to in your last week, that literally was it. Like it was.
Yeah.
So today was my first day back in work, and it was like.
So work let you back then. You had the results of your COVID test. You were saying you've had.
Oh yeah. I had to do a COVID test on the Saturday. So well, you have to do it when you come back. Obviously, it was negative.
Haven't they scrapped that now, or they've made it so you can do a cheap one or something like that?
Oh yeah, so we came back too soon. So they are changing the rules, but unfortunately, we came back too early, so we still had to pay like 70 quid each for a COVID test.
Ah well, to be honest, I'd pay it just for the holiday. I'd just pay it. I don't care.
Oh yeah.
It's been so long since last I went on a holiday was like 2019. I think we went to Venice.
Yeah.
And since then we've got a puppy, we've got a house, and we have no money. Like This is why I'm on like Asda budget drinks, man. Like there's no money, so every penny and. I don't know if I've mentioned on the podcast, but Fee quit her job. She's training to become a primary school teacher, so no income there. I quit my job and got a different job, so there's been a sort of a fluctuation kind of thing. Yeah, it's like every single penny is accounted for at the minute.
Yeah, I say like we hopefully get to go on holiday at some point, but it was weird actually. Like it was just weird like. Being in a different country after like 2 years. I know it sounds weird, but like when you've not done it for a while, you're like, damn, it's like
definitely.
UK for like 2 whole years. Like
obviously not the same thing, but we went to the cinema the other week to see the new Bond film, and it was the first time we went to the cinema since 2019 to see the Spider-Man Far From Home. Yeah. And it was weird. It just felt weird, and like one person coughed at the back, and everyone was like, oh, like. There was some, strange.
Yeah, on my flight out there was this dude like on the far end of the row that we were in. And he had like a gnarly cough, and it was a 4-hour flight. 4-hour flight, and I said,
well, that could be a horror movie in itself, couldn't it? Like someone coughing on a plane.
It was just like, oh, I mean, everybody was wearing masks and everything. It was as safe. It was as safe as it could have been.
Yeah.
But it was. But me and Tilly were sat there like, I mean, we would just say like, I hope it doesn't fucking ruin the holiday.
On the way out, you were saying.
Yeah, on the way out. Because obviously,
God.
like, what I didn't want to happen was, for us to. I mean, we had travel insurance and everything, but I didn't want to like catch COVID when I was out in Spain.
Yeah, no way.
Then I'd be stuck in a hotel and. And it was just, it would just ruin everything if that happened. Because I said, like, Tilly, like, if I test positive, if we tested positive on Saturday, like, I almost don't care. Like, 'cause it's like, well, for starters, we've actually already had COVID, both of us. We're both double vaccinated, so I was like, if I get COVID again, like, it's probably not going to be that bad. Luckily it wasn't that bad the first time round either, but. So I was like, if I catch it and I'm in the UK, like I get 10 days off work and well, hey,
So you sent me a lot of pictures and videos when you were away. There was a lot of like funky, like Satriani style band nights and a guy who was like a Foo Fighter man or something.
Oh god, yeah. The entertainment was we were at like a hotel that was probably more the clientele was definitely older. Significantly older.
Well, yeah, man. I saw some of the pictures you sent from the beaches of the old people with no like bathing suits on.
Yeah, it was. It's not that much of a surprise. Like if you go to like places like Germany, France, like ladies take their tops off, dudes get their dicks out. Like it's just. It's just how it goes. The entertainment was pretty like it was pretty good on the whole. Like we went to a few nights.
It looked like it was classic like hotel cheese, but it looked good.
Yeah, you don't want to be like obviously like they're in hotels, they're not like playing like arena gigs or anything, but
well, the one guy looked like he was playing an arena gig.
Oh god, yeah. So there was one guy. He was actually pretty good. He played some really really like cool songs, like a real good mix of like classic rock and all that kind of stuff. But I sent Harry a few videos when we were there because like I'd been drinking all day, so I was sort of like finding it quite funny. And I said that he just looked like Joe Satriani. The only thing, he looked bald. That was the only thing that.
Yeah, that was basically. He was bald and he was doing a lot of the like. Like and he was right up the neck stuff.
Yeah, he was just shredding. Yeah. Nah, there was some cool things.
But the one night that I would have been like, yes, mate, I'm going to, which was the ABBA Mania night. You bailed on. ABBA Mania.
That was literally our last night, and we were like, by that point, we had to pack, and we were just knackered, and
yeah, fair enough.
I was like, the best night, to be fair, that I enjoyed the most. I would have gone to the ABBA one, but the best night was the Motown night. That was really really cool.
Oh right,
yeah. They played some cool stuff.
Quick change of subject. Have you heard any of ABBA's new tracks?
I haven't. No, I know you keep on telling me to.
I'll slam them in that playlist that I've got for you.
I will listen to it.
You got to listen to that new Little Sis Nora track as well, because that's a banger.
Oh,
Rave in My Garage. Banger.
I listened to the Ghost track that you sent me, and that was very, very good. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. Cool track.
Cool.
Yeah, this is basically how I listen to music now. It's just Harry just sends me stuff.
Yeah. I'll just be like, you got to listen to this, and I'll slam it in a podcast in a playlist for him.
Yeah, that's basically how I listen to my music now.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've had a pretty fucking awesome week, man. Like, compared to my week, which was basically finish work, get ill as fuck on the Thursday, get sent home Friday morning, watch through 6 out of the 7 Tremors films over the weekend, because you can't move on the sofa. Go out for a motorbike ride. As I was saying earlier, me and Hamby, we played a couple of little Warzone games before doing this podcast, and my bike has developed a notch in the steering, which is basically the head bearing, the steering bearing has gone, and now it locks in a position. And yeah, that's obviously not great because you can't steer so well. I mean, you can actually steer, but it's when you're trying to turn and you're pushing it, you're trying to turn it, and then it goes, and you're sort of like, whoa, and if there was ice or anything, I'd be off. So But I've got it booked in at my favourite garage, which is basically just a really old man, and then you see his dad, who's even fucking older, and they just work on bikes because they love them, and they charge you next to nothing, and they always fix it right there and then. So it's booked in Saturday morning. I'm getting that fixed. It just means I've got to ride all the way to fucking... I won't say where it is. My least favourite place in the UK. Used to work there, used to live there.
I can guess.
Yeah. Shit central. So, yeah, that was my week. It's literally just been working. My new job is full on. I had my new placement, so I'm placed somewhere now. I'm fucking big man sales, big
boss
suit
man.
boy. Yeah, big boss man. Big suit man now, yeah. So, to go back to where I was before we started talking about all this shit, this week we decided to just watch through 2 creepy YouTube horror films. As always, I searched short film, horror, and just watched like maybe the first... Out of the first 5, it was 2. So, we watched a couple of them. Varying in length, didn't really want to go for anything that was too long. Like, I find that, I don't know, half an hour and over I'm into, but sort of 15 minutes I feel is too much. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like, I'll sit there and watch a half-hour short film, but 15 minutes feels like too long. So these ones were sort of between 3 and 7 minutes. Let's go straight into it, man. So the first one we watched was a film called Don't Peek by a guy called Julian Terry. Came out in 2020. It was 6 minutes and 47 seconds long, and it was pretty much a standard YouTube horror film, really. No budget, obviously, but not in a bad way. There was no dialogue or anything through this whole thing, which I really liked. It basically is a girl. She's lying on her bed and she's playing on her, like, it's almost like they were trying to ask for money because they were like, I'm playing on a Nintendo Switch, everybody. It's Animal Crossing on a Nintendo Switch Lite,
Yeah.
But she's playing on this Nintendo, and I don't know what she's doing. She's just like killing time. It's like she's waiting for something or something. And she's like rolling around, and she's making her character just like aimlessly walk around the house. And it's weird because she discovers basically that when she makes her character open a set of drawers, like her drawers open in her room, and I don't know about you, but like my initial reaction would be like, oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, she
Not
seemed like she was...
Ha-ha!
Yeah, she seemed like she was like surprised. It like I know exactly what you mean. It looked like it was like an ad. It looked like it was an advert for like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it did. It definitely did. All it needed was like the music.
Yeah, it was weird. And actually, it took her a long time, or it felt like a long time. It was probably only like a minute or so in the actual thing to actually realise that was what was going on as well.
Yeah,
it was like she was pressing this button and this like noise was going on, and it took her like a whole minute to realise that was what was happening. Like the drawer was opening. And then she like, along with the drawer, she like starts turning off the lights in the room in the game, and her lights are going on and off, and she's loving it. She's like, vibing with this like Animal Crossing music, and like, just, I don't know. Then then it sort of like gets a bit like, as always with these things, like the tone like drops. It gets darker. You can see it get like darker in the scene. It starts getting like a little bit sort of ominous. I think like on the game, a voice bubble, like a speech bubble, comes from the door, and it's like, "Can you let me in?" or something. And she's like, just looks up at her door, which is now wide open, but it's pitch black, and she starts getting a little spooked by it. Actually, to be fair, I did get spooked in this, and only for a second, because there's a scene when there's basically some noise of some like footsteps walking around her bed, and
I've got a 5.1 surround in my living room, which I'm quite proud of, and two of the speakers are right behind my head, and it fully sound like behind me right now is the wall, and then on the other side of that is the stairs. So it fully sounded like someone was walking down the stairs, and I'm home on my own, so I was sort of like, oh, and I was like, oh, it's the film. So I guess that actually is a pretty good use of sound in this movie. But yeah, then on the game screen, in the black doorway, is this like weird, like ooga booga, creepy man, basically, and she is like looking at the game, looking at the doorway in real life to see. Is he there? Like, what's going on? And this thing is constantly like, can you let me in? Can you let me in? And she's like, no.
She's getting more and more freaked out at this point.
Yeah, basically. And the whole time I'm thinking like, oh, so this is like about a haunted Animal Crossing. Like the game is haunted. That's the impression you get. Like she's still playing this game.
Yeah.
Then I think. I'm struggling to remember it. Like
she kind of like doesn't she throw the game down because she gets a bit creeped out.
Yeah.
And
That's it. Because on the game it starts to come through the doorway on the game screen, whatever this thing is.
Yeah, and then she picks it back up again, turns all the lights on. So when the lights
in the
are
game
on
as well. In the game, she turns the lights on instead of just being like. She got used to this, like, I don't know.
Instead of just walking out into the landing and just turning the light on.
Yeah.
So she gets all creeped out, doesn't she? And then, doesn't she... What happens then? It's like she goes onto the bed, and then she sees, like, the footprints of it coming across the bed.
Oh, that's it. Doesn't something, like... It's like something sitting on the end of the bed.
Yeah,
it, like, dips down, and she's sort of getting more and more creeped. And then I think what happens is there's then the silhouette of like a person's head and shoulders, but with the like under the duvet, and it's just sort of in front of her, and she's like obviously fucking terrified, and she's still like holding the game though at this point, and then this thing basically does a pretty like stereotypical horror like lunges at her under the duvet. And she goes like, drops the game and huddles up or something. But I always, it just made me think like, what is it with people and like running from something like that? It's like, it's your house. You know what I mean? If there's a silhouette of a person in your face, in your house, under a duvet, fucking smack it, mate. Like,
All right, tough man.
no, mate, like, I think, I don't know why, but like, my natural reaction to something like that is to like reach for it.
Punch him.
Yeah, like fucking. I'm not a fighter, right? But I'll swing at something, like I'm not going to be in my own bedroom, like what the hell? It's my house, man. I pay for this. Like, get the fuck out, like. And it made me think, like in films and things, when if someone's in the house, like granted, if you see a bloke in the corner and he's got a fucking knife or something. I'm not running towards that. But if there's some dude and he's going, ooh, mate, I'm coming for you. Get out. Get out. Don't be messing around in my house, man. Trying to spook me.
I mean, like, yeah, she could have. Why didn't she just run away after it made her jump the first time?
Yeah, she gets straight back on the game.
Rather than running away, she just like picks up the game and just starts. It's like that is the last thing I would be doing. I think
then she's so spooked that she's sat on the ground and she's like looking at the side of her bed where the sort of the figure was, and then basically it does the standard. Like me and Tomo have watched a lot of these movies on YouTube. After I think this is like part 6 or part 5 of the YouTube shorts, and the horror ones we've seen always end like this. So basically, it's just a really fast jump scare. It's like bang, then it ends. And what it is, it's just some weird like mask with some goop on it of someone going, some sort of weird toothy monster thing.
Yeah.
With the duvet like around its head, and then it cuts. Yeah,
I think like. I mean, like, what did you really expect out of, like, 4 or 5 minutes? Felt like... Yeah. I mean, I won't spoil the second one, but it felt like with this one, it was like build up was not, the payoff was not worth the build up.
No.
It was like I was like expecting something a bit more, and I was just like, it wasn't. Yeah.
I gotta say though, like, this was probably my favorite horror YouTube short that I've ever seen. Just because it's the only time I've ever gotten even slightly spooked for a second ever on these.
Yeah.
I liked how there was no dialogue, but you knew exactly what was happening. I didn't like how it was almost like a sponsored by Nintendo situation. I'm not a Nintendo man. Fuck Mario. Like, I don't care. I'm 26, man. I ain't got time to be playing kiddie games.
Xbox through and through.
Yeah. I've had my fair share of Nintendos, but I'm not going to pay, that much money for a game to play a fucking Legend of Zelda or some shit on it. I know that's controversial, but not my jam.
No. I thought like on the whole, it was okay, but it's like, what can you actually do in like 4 minutes? Yeah.
Well, you've got a short amount of time to really get your message across, and I think, although the jumps weren't great, like I think this was actually pretty successful in putting across what it wants. So let's go into the ratings, man. What are you giving it out of 10? No points.
Out of 10. I'll give it a 6.
Yep.
Pretty standard.
6 is decent. A lot of people always go, "Ooh, 6." But if 5 is average, 6 is good.
Yeah. I this probably sounds. I can't. I don't make films, so I can't make. I probably couldn't come up with anything better. But like, for 4 minutes, like it's good. It's not bad.
I thought that it felt like a long 4 minute. Oh no, sorry, no. This one was 6. This one was 6.5 minutes.
Oh, was it? Oh, fair enough.
Yeah,
sorry.
This one was 6.5 minutes. So I felt like it felt easily like it was 10 minutes, but not like it was dragging. I think I was just into it in a good way. I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay.
Horror's not usually my sort of thing because not a lot scares me. I don't mean that as like a tough boy, but like the dark, not scary. Things that go, not that scary. Again, any sort of house intruder situation, not scary. That slobbery, toothy thing, man, is going to be eating my fist for sure. Or a swift elbow to the top of the head. I just charge it. I just tackle it down, man.
With horror, I find, okay, I've seen like the classic horror movies and stuff, and and I do obviously I enjoy the classics, but I find,
what's a classic for you?
Oh, something like The Exorcist or something like that, or something like that. But I find that a lot of like horror movies just copy the same kind of like patterns of the way that the movie goes, and so there's that. That's one of the reasons why I kind of just don't really bother watching them anymore.
I always think as well that as soon as they show the demon or the ghost, it's lost it.
Yeah, you know what? One of my best examples of that. I know it's not strictly speaking a horror; it's more of like a thriller. But like the original Alien movie, I watched that when I was really young, and like, again, I know it's not horror, but like I found that like absolutely terrifying in like the first like half hour of the movie when you don't know, you never actually see the alien, and then like. And then you slowly sort of see more and more of it, and it's. I was only young when I watched it, but it's scary, and
definitely.
The unknown,
the suspense and the tension,
and like that's you don't want to reveal your monster like in the first 10 minutes,
because the thing is what you are imagining to be in that darkness is infinitely scarier than a bloke in a big rubbery suit, it's like, for me, a great example of that is the first Insidious film. I don't know if you've seen those, but like...
I have, yeah. I've seen the first one.
I've got a mate at work who just loves anything that's James Wan with Patrick Wilson. He calls him Bear Scares Wilson because he's just bear scares all the time. But that film, really classic horror suspense, and then all of a sudden they show the demon, and it's just Darth Maul climbing up a wall or something. And it's like, what is this?
It's like the immersion's broken when you just like laugh or giggle, isn't it? You're just like,
yeah. So
oh, like
that whole film worked for me, except for the very end with that dollar store horror mask or something, with a bit of slime on it or something.
Yeah.
So that was Don't Peek, Julian Terry, 2020, 6 minutes 47. As always, I'll put the links in this. Actually, to be fair, I've been pretty behind on everything like promotion for the podcast at the minute, so there's not been any posts on anything for a while. There hasn't been a YouTube video in like 2 months or something. I just don't have time, man. I've just got a new job and everything. I don't have time. So I will try to put all the links for these films in the description so you can watch it yourself. Let us know what you thought. Send an email to dudewhatpodcast@gmail.com, at dudewhatpodcast on Instagram, Spreaker.com/dudewhatpodcast. Send us a voice message. Just let us know what you think of these films. So the next one, man, the last one. This was, it was interesting. It was called The Mannequin, 2020. It's 4 minutes 40 seconds, and it was filmed and directed and everything by a guy called Levi Morgan. I sort of had high hopes for this because sometimes mannequins can be creepy. When people do that thing and they dress in like a morph suit and then they jump at you, like they can be creepy, They've got weird facial expressions like the little kid ones where they're like,
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
But this, wasn't great. So
they managed to make the mannequin not creepy in the slightest, in my opinion.
Not at all. So it starts off with, and it's basically two proper bros, college bros. They're obviously promised a keg or something for being in this film, or some Bud Light or something or whatever college bros drink. But yeah, the film starts off and it's two bros basically having a chat about a mannequin, and as always, I make copious notes when watching these things. And the first thing I picked up on is the fact that one dude called the mannequin, he said, "I picked her up from somewhere." And I'm, whoa, man, it's a mannequin. It's an it. It's not got a gender. What?
But it's a her mannequin, to be fair.
It's a female mannequin, but yeah, it just made me think what are you doing with this mannequin, man? It's not her. You got a relationship or something? It's a mannequin. It's an it. But anyway, they're talking about this mannequin. This bro is walking around his house. They're trying to fill time in, they've got basically about a minute and a half's worth of story, and they're cramming it into a 4 minute 40 second thing. And that's not to shit on this, right? Because making a film is hard. I've made a 5-minute film before, and it took forever. It's really hard to do. So much respect to Levi Morgan, but yeah, it basically follows his bro as he bros around his house. He bros up his stairs, which are the creakiest goddamn stairs you've ever heard.
It was like the microphone was literally underneath the carpet. That's what it sounded like. It was it's like one of those horror cliches, isn't it? Like a creaky door, creaky step. But it was every single step. Yeah. So he walks into his house. He leaves the mannequin downstairs, and he wanders upstairs, doesn't he? Puts his back down.
Yeah, and there's some lingering shots of some film award he won for a different film or something.
To get that in.
Check it out, I won an award.
And then there's a crash, isn't there? And he goes downstairs.
Yeah.
And the mannequin's led to, and the arm has fallen off.
The arm's fallen off and shattered into bits.
And he's not that creeped out at the moment because it's not that creepy. It just fell over. So he's okay. He picks the arm up and brings the arm upstairs with him.
Yeah, and he's walking with it over his shoulder, carrying on broing around his house,
Yeah, which I didn't understand, but whatever. And then what happens
doesn't
next?
Doesn't he then turn around and the mannequin's just there leaning up against a wall?
Yeah, it's moving.
And he does this. He does this this hilarious little jump. It looked like a genuine jump, to be honest. It was sort of Hoo!
But the funny thing was, it moved maybe 2 feet up the stairs, and he was ooh. And then he when he went to turn his light on or something or off, and then it moves a few meters up. He moves like onto the actual landing, and he's like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
and then he does it again, and it's right next to him, and he's like, "Ooh."
Yeah, and he's almost squaring up to this mannequin.
That's more like what you're on about, isn't it? Like if something came into your house, you
fucking smash it, mate.
decking it.
Yeah, deck it, chuck it down the stairs. Like, But he's like starting to square with this thing a little bit. But we said throughout this whole thing, this dude is surprisingly chill.
Yeah. I think I'd be freaking out. I'd be freaking out more. Yeah, so once he's freaked out upstairs, he then proceeds to go downstairs with the mannequin because he obviously wants to get rid of it. He then tries to unlock the front door and he's quite frantic about it.
Yeah.
And then essentially he turns around, the mannequin's getting closer and closer to him. He's trying to get out of the house.
Yeah, he is actually panicked at this point, isn't he?
Yeah, he is panicking. And then essentially like the mannequin gets closer and closer and closer. But it does nothing. It's the weird thing that. Yeah,
it's so weird. Like you would expect, as I said, like you would expect a like a little. I was expecting it to like crack and there be something inside of it or something, but it's just a mannequin that's just fallen on him, and he's like, like it's lying on me, like
Then he decks it.
Then he starts getting angry, like.
So he basically destroys it. He hits it. It falls over. He picks it up. He walks outside. And he puts it in like a bin outside. Essentially,
he puts it in a dumpster. Although actually, he just puts it on the floor next to a dumpster.
Yeah, sure.
And we then cut to some other bro, who's leaving his house and he's casually swinging his garbage bag. And he's got this thing. He's got this thing swung over his shoulder, right? And instantly, I said to Hamby, because we watched these, we actually watched these over in an Xbox party chat, so we could still talk, while it was happening. He watches this. He's got this thing. It's slung over his shoulder, and there's juice and stuff in there. There's like gross shit in the bottom of his. I'm like, nobody does that, man. Nobody goes outside with their bin bags and swings it over their shoulder and then whistles walking down the street, to the dumpster.
Dank bin juice dripping down your back.
Yeah, man. Nobody, if that thing's split, you can have a bad day,
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
So anyway, he walks up to this dumpster and he looks and he sees the mannequin. And we weren't sure actually was this the character who he was talking to at the beginning?
I think so. I think it was.
Because there's only two people in this film.
Yeah, I think it was the same guy. Was it supposed? Yeah, it was supposed to be the same guy, presumably.
Yeah, I think so. But weirdly, he throws his thing in the dumpster. He looks at the mannequin and he thinks, "Yeah, I'll take that."
But wasn't he slagging it off at the start of the short, saying, "Why are you taking a mannequin?"
Yeah, I have no clue. I have no clue what the hell they were talking about at the beginning.
Yeah, so he picks his mannequin up and takes it home, like as if like it's his.
Slings it under his arm, takes it home, and it's like, what are you gonna do with that thing, man?
Yeah.
What do you want a half-destroyed female mannequin for?
It's her, bro.
Yeah. Then it cuts. Then it literally just cuts to the end, and that's the end of the film. And it was short. It felt short. It was only 4 minutes 40 seconds. Sounds like we were slagging it off a lot, but as I said, these things are hard to make, and I've tried something that I thought was really cool. Actually, with you, weren't you in one of the things I made?
Maybe.
Or I think you were there on filming, and you were sort of.
I was on set.
Yeah, you were on set. But yeah, these things obviously don't always go to plan, and I don't think this worked, man. Like, it just gave the wrong vibe.
I laughed through a lot of it, and it like I completely agree with what Harry said. Like I don't make films. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
But unless a horror is marketed as a horror comedy, you should not be laughing.
Yeah, I laughed. I think it was because mainly because of the mannequin. Like, as in, like, the actual climax wasn't that great, but actually the build-up I was finding quite funny. And I found it funny because of the guy's reaction to this mannequin getting closer and closer to him. And Like, I don't know, I felt like his reaction
These-
just wasn't how a normal person would react.
No. These bros had looked like they probably had a little bit of something before shooting this, and they were just too chill, man. They were all too chill. Probably really good mates with it. Unless I got the impression that the lead actor was the filmmaker.
I don't think it was it?
But yeah, it was just hanging at some dude's house. It's probably two guys having a sleepover or something. Home from college at the weekend or something. And, props to them for making it. It was funny. It was funny. I enjoyed it because it was funny. Not creepy at all.
That's the thing. This probably sounds weird. I probably enjoyed it more than the first one we watched, but for the wrong reasons. I found it funny, and I didn't find the first one funny.
You had more of a reaction from it, which I guess is the whole point of cinema, to make you react, And, seeing a couple of good old bros get spooked by a little mannequin was funny, man.
It was. Yeah.
But so, what are you giving it, man? Ratings?
Oh, I would give it. Do you do half?
No,
halves?
we don't do halves. No points.
Okay,
It's gotta be
okay.
a solid.
I would say I would give it a 7.
Yeah, that's high.
A 7, and because it was good, it was funny. I don't think it achieved what it was trying to achieve. Maybe it did. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe it is completely sort of like 4D chess. Maybe they were trying to make it a comedy.
Yeah.
But I found it was entertaining.
That's fair. I was gonna say I thought we'd give it really low scores because it obviously not being that good in our opinion. But I was gonna say it's Spooktober. I'm gonna give it a funny high score. But I was gonna give it a 7. I think I probably enjoyed it as much as Don't Peek, the first film we watched, but for completely different reasons.
I think there should be a sequel to The Mannequin.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like if this was a normal episode and we were actually hanging out and doing this with a couple of drinks, I would be bawling. I'd be absolutely rolling around on the floor in laughter at this one.
Oh yeah. It's. I definitely could imagine watching this with a group of friends.
It's just that moment where he sort of squares and it's a mannequin. What are you doing, man? This is a fucking idiot. But yeah, so I said short and sweet this week. It looks like it's going to be a long ep.
Oh, that's okay.
So
it's my bedtime in about an hour, but
yeah, same. I haven't had dinner yet, man. I got to cook some dinner. I'm having chili tonight.
Oh, I ate before I came on. I'm good.
So, I think we're going to leave it there in terms of the films and things. It's been crazy fun watching these. It would be cool to do some more, but as I say, we're going to leave it there for this week. Hope you've enjoyed... Well, I was going to say, as I said with the first one, watch this film, watch The Mannequin, let us know what you think of it. Send an email, dude what, all that crap. Just get in touch with us and let us know what you thought of The Mannequin 2020, Levi Morgan. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, space aliens, whatever the hell you are, we have come to the end of another episode of Dude What Podcast. It's been a bit of a different one this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have enjoyed it. I've got to chat to one of my good friends, Mr. Callum Hamby, who agreed to come on and stand in for the big bad T lad. And genuinely a lifesaver at this point, man. We were
it's any time.
We were sweating.
Say, what else am I going to be doing on a Monday night?
Yeah, man. And hopefully we can do more of these, more like this. And I'm also going to have people guesting on the Harry's Half Hour thing that I'm doing, just about some news and things. Trying to get Fee on one of those soon. So hopefully you could guest on one of those soon, man.
Of course, anytime.
Literally just talking about news, any news stories that you thought were cool. So that's that.
Anytime.
But yeah, as I said earlier, you can check us out on pretty much all platforms except for a lot of them. You can send us an email, dudewhatpodcast@gmail.com. Get in touch on Instagram @dudewhatpodcast. Check us out pretty much anywhere. Actually, the best thing you can do for us now is leave us a review. 5-star, 1-star, whatever the hell you want to say. You leave a review. it's more likely to get spotted by other people when they're searching for podcasts. And let's face it, there's like 50 million trillion podcasts out there at the moment. Everybody's got one. And if you look up, what the sort of thing we do, there is genuinely like a million other people doing the exact same thing. So leave a review. That helps us out massively. And most of all, thank you everybody for listening to this. You should take it easy. Don't work too hard. Don't stress. Ain't enough time in the life for stressing. I don't know, man. You got anything else that's like motivational and feel good to end this podcast?
No, I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I was just letting you go with it.
I always struggle, but the thing is, I always struggle, but I mean it, man. Like, if you've sat through all 50-something minutes of this podcast, you deserve a little pin that says "Dude What" or something. Well done, because I probably couldn't listen through this.
Hell yeah.
Everybody, I've been Harry Dowling.
I'm Callum Hamby. Thank you for watching, listening even.
And this has been Dude What Podcast. Everybody, I think we're going to take a bow. We're going to take it easy. I'm going to have some dinner. See you all later.
Go to bed.
Dude What?
Dude What?
We hope you enjoyed this episode. You can visit our Instagram account at Dude What Podcast. That's DUDEWUT Podcast. And you can also email us at dudewhatpodcast@gmail.com. That's DUDEWUT Podcast@gmail.com. See you next time. Dude, what?